Earth is a far stranger place than you could ever imagine. With this in mind, I present to you this tale of wonder and mystery. The story I am about to share with you is claimed to be true. From the book Strangely Enough by C.B. Colby, the story is entitled Lord Dufferin's Story. Lord Dufferin, a British diplomat, was the central figure of this story, which has become one of England's classic tales of the supernatural. One night during a stay at a friend's country house in Ireland, Lord Dufferin was unusually restless and could not sleep. He had an inexplicable feeling of dread, and so, to calm his nerves, he arose and walked across the room to the window. A full moon illuminated the garden below, so that it was almost as bright as morning as Lord Dufferin stood there by the window. Suddenly, he was conscious of a movement in the shadows, and a man appeared, carrying a long box on his back. The silent and sinister figure walked slowly across the moonlit yard. As he passed the window from which Lord Dufferin intently watched, he stopped and looked directly into the diplomat's eyes. Lord Dufferin recoiled, for the face of the man carrying the burden was so ugly that he could not even describe it later. For a moment their eyes met, and then the man moved off into the shadows. The box on his back was clearly seen to be a casket. The next morning, Dufferin asked his host and the other guests about the man in the garden, but no one knew anything about him. He was even accused of having a nightmare, but he knew better. Many years later in Paris, when Lord Dufferin was serving as the English ambassador to France, he was about to step into an elevator on the way to an important meeting of diplomats. For some unexpected reason, he glanced at the elevator operator, and with a violent start, recognized the man he had seen carrying the coffin across the moonlit garden. Involuntarily, he stepped back from the elevator and stood there as the door closed and it started up without him. His agitation was so great that he remained motionless for several minutes. Then a terrific crash startled him. The cable had parted, and the elevator had fallen 3 floors to the basement. Several passengers were killed in the tragedy, and the operator himself died. Investigation revealed that the operator had been hired for just that day, and no one has ever known who he was or where he came from.